So, what's the actual operating system behind one of the most ambitious people of our time? Well, we've gone ahead and distilled over 100 different points of wisdom into a core playbook. Really, a guide to building the future. Let's break it down.
Right off the bat, we start with the one idea that fuels literally everything else. This isn't about chasing easy wins. It's all about conviction. It's the core belief that if the mission truly matters, then the odds, they just don't. And that, right there, is the foundation for this entire playbook.
So, how do you even get to a place like that? Well, it all starts in your head. It begins with the mind. So this first section, it's all about rewiring your brain to see huge problems and their solutions in a totally different way.
Think of the feedback loop as the core algorithm for improvement. Seriously, it's not some complex business strategy. It's just a relentless habit. You take an action, you analyze the result, and you feed that learning right back into the next attempt. You know, from rocket engines to just everyday decisions, the question is always the same. How can this be better?
Now, this kind of mindset, it just completely challenges conventional wisdom. We're always told, diversify, don't put all your eggs in one basket. The approach here? Nope, forget that. Go all in. But, and this is the absolute key, only if you control the basket. See, this isn't reckless gambling. It's a really calculated, high-stakes bet on your own ability to execute. It's about intense focus, not fear.
But all that inspiration gets hit with a pretty brutal reality check. This quote just grounds the whole philosophy. The path of a true innovator, it's not glamorous, it's painful. And it's a stark reminder that the founder's mindset isn't just about having big, exciting ideas. It's about having the sheer perseverance to stare into that abyss and just keep going anyway.
You know, we spend so much time hunting for solutions, but the real work, the heavy lifting, it happens way earlier. Once you correctly define the problem, once you frame the right question, the answer often becomes surprisingly obvious. The hard part is the deep analysis beforehand, not just the execution afterward.
Okay, so you've got the mindset down. But how does that scale from just one person to an entire organization? Let's get into the mechanics of actually building a company that's designed to change the world.
It's kind of like baking a cake. You can have the best ingredients in the world, you know, amazing innovation, talented people, but without a solid recipe, a good strategy, you're going to fail. And a great strategy with no innovation is useless. You need all the right ingredients in the right proportions, and then you actually have to do the work. You can't skip a step.
And you can just forget that image of the CEO in some ivory tower. A real leader's job is to do whatever it takes to get the job done, even if that means sweeping the floors. The focus has to be on the product, the engineering, the design, because that's where the real value is created. The goal isn't the exit strategy. The goal is the mission, period.
If you strip away all the branding, the stock price, the fancy buildings, what are you left with? It's simple. A company is just a group of people. And at the end of the day, the quality of that group, their talent, how well they work together, that will always be the ultimate ceiling on what you can possibly achieve.
So you've got the mindset and you've got the company. Now let's talk about the output, the actual product. How do you go beyond just making things a little bit better and create something that's truly revolutionary? Get ready for this number, 100. 100 hours per week. And the math behind it is both simple and absolutely brutal. If your competitors are working normal 40-hour weeks, you can achieve in about 4 months what takes them an entire year. This isn't just about working hard, it's about fundamentally changing the timescale of innovation itself. And here's the paradox. All of that intense, unbelievably complex work is aimed at achieving one thing: radical simplicity. The whole point of great engineering is that the user should never even have to think about the engineering. The product should just work, intuitively. That's it.
And the core tool to get there is called first principles thinking. See, instead of reasoning by analogy, we do this because that's how it's always been done, you break a problem down to its absolute fundamental truths, its raw physics, like fearing the dark as a kid, until you learn that darkness is just the absence of photons. Once you get that fundamental truth, the problem is no longer scary, it's solvable.
And this is such a critical distinction. Innovation isn't just about being different for the sake of being different. It has to be about a relentless, measurable pursuit of improvement. You have to ask, is this new idea actually better than what already exists? Because if it's not, it's just a novelty. Okay, mindset, check. Company, check. Product, check. But how do you lead the actual people who build it all? I mean, how do you assemble a team that can execute on what feels like an impossible vision? So here's a really counterintuitive idea.
For truly complex problems, adding more people can actually slow you down. A single, super talented person can be exponentially more valuable than a dozen others. The goal isn't just to find more people, it's to find the right people.
But it's not just about raw talent, right? It's about purpose. People have to know why they're coming to work, and they have to be genuinely excited by that mission. They need to be people you actually like spending time with. And crucially, they have to be people you trust enough to tell you when your idea is just plain bad. That negative feedback, man, that's gold.
So this really brings up a direct question for every single one of us, whether you're leading a giant company or you're just part of a small team. What is that goal? Is it crystal clear? Is it inspiring enough to actually make people want to jump out of bed in the morning?
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this whole playbook, the why. What is the ultimate end game that's driving all this struggle, all this innovation? What's the point?
It's really framed as the ultimate insurance policy for humanity. Think about it. Life on Earth is incredibly fragile. The dinosaurs didn't have a space program, right? The idea is that becoming a multi-planetary species isn't some luxury. It's an absolute necessity for the long-term survival of human consciousness.
And that vision goes way beyond space. Back here on Earth, the next huge frontier is humanoid robotics. The goal is to create what's called an age of abundance, where repetitive, dangerous labor is a thing of the past. It could reshape our entire economy and society on a scale even bigger than the automobile did.
And ultimately, the entire playbook, everything we've talked about, it all comes down to a single binary choice. The future is coming, whether we want it to or not, and you can either be a spectator or you can be a participant. You can watch it happen or you can be a part of it.
And that's really the question this playbook leaves us with. It's not just a question for one person, it's for all of us. Faced with the huge challenges and incredible opportunities of our time, which will you choose?